Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Month in Review. I'm Petty Officer Houston Waters. Tonight we're going to see some of the top stories from Sasebo and Yokosuka for the month of February, as we'll highlight the sailors and commands working here in the Pacific region. Our top story tonight comes from Sasebo. In an emergency on dry land, everyone knows to pick up the phone and call 911. But when a ship is at sea, sailors only have each other to depend on. Petty Officer Tony DeFilippo went aboard USS Denver to see how the crew is training to respond to a medical emergency.
Wounded sailors lay scattered across the deck of USS Denver.
You bleeding?
The ship is out at sea, and a helicopter has crashed and exploded on the flight deck.
Oh my God.
Our job as MTT is to create real-world, real-life scenarios to train the Denver crew to respond to medical emergencies.
I need a bandage.
This time, it's just a drill, but that doesn't mean the crew is taking it lightly.
I think it went really well. There was a couple of hiccups that we can remediate and correct in the future, but that's why we do the drills. And all in all, we were very satisfactory. We did well. We would have saved lives today.
1, 2, 3.
That responsibility doesn't just fall on the ship's medical personnel. It's everyone's job to save lives.
Well, there's a lot less corpsmen on this ship than there are crew personnel, so we can't be everywhere at once. So it's important to maintain a level knowledge of medical treatment to casualties. That way, where we can't be, there can be first aid given.
We may have blocked access to certain parts of the ship, or we may actually be the casualties ourselves. So it's really important for everyone to be cross-trained.
When a ship is out at sea and things go wrong, the sailors on board only have each other. Training like this makes sure the crew is ready for anything. Petty Officer Tony DeFilippo.
You okay?
Fleet Activities Sasebo, Japan.
At Fleet Activities Yokosuka, the Strike Fighter Squadron 27 crew prepares for aerial missions that few are capable of fulfilling. Petty Officer Mike Story has more on how they prepare for an upcoming trans-Pacific flight.
I'm a pilot.
I'm a corrosion technician.
I'm a plane captain.
These are the faces of Strike Fighter Squadron 27.
VFA 27 is one of 4 strike fighter squadrons in Carrier Air Wing 5. We are tasked with being the tip of the spear to America's 911 Air Wing here forward deployed in the Western Pacific Ocean.
Right now, VFA 27 is preparing to launch 12 of their jets across the Pacific Ocean in order to receive 13 new FA-18E Super Hornets.
I think the most challenging part of this evolution, being that we are forward deployed naval forces, is maintaining that high state of readiness that's required of us, while at the same time grooming 13 aircraft, aircrew, and maintainers for a trip across the largest body of water on Earth.
As one pilot dips his wings overhead, another taxis out to the runway to begin this long and taxing journey across the Pacific. Petty Officer Michael Story, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
The squadron is scheduled to trade their planes for newer models when they reach the United States. While in port, sailors from USS Denver are reaching out to the Sasebo community. Seaman John Marzullo joined them to see how they're doing their part to strengthen the relationship between the base and their Japanese allies.
It's a sunny Saturday afternoon in Sasebo, Japan. While many sailors are out relaxing on their weekend liberty, some are taking the opportunity to give a little back to their community relations.
The world's becoming more international every day. And I think anytime we can get out there and do like a cultural diffusion, if you would, we're forging relationships primarily. And I think the more relationships we have formed, the stronger the community as a whole is.
They're called the Combined Outreach Group, and they're from USS Denver.
With the Navy, we're taught honor, courage, and commitment when we come in, and the fact that we're able to give back to our local community here, it really emphasizes those core values.
These sailors bonded with Japanese children at a local school, and they did so in several ways, from a violent game of dodgeball to some less violent gardening.
Everyone has fun, everyone learns, everyone comes together to create something bigger than the sum of their own parts.
The group hopes that this event is the first of many.
In the future, the Combined Outreach Group, or COG as we call it, we want to start working with other commands and start doing bigger and better comm serves. One ship can do a lot, but all of them combined can really make a difference.
Reporting, Seaman John Marzullo, Fleet Activities, Sasebo, Japan.
The Navy Operational Fitness and Fueling Series is a tool for sailors to get and stay fit. Petty Officer Shamira Purifoy joined command fitness leaders to learn what the NOFS program is all about.
For these command and assistant command fitness leaders from ships at Fleet Activities Yokosuka, learning the ins and outs of the Navy Operational Fitness and Fueling System, NOFS, requires a little sweat.
Well, the NOFS, I didn't expect it to be as challenging as it is. I thought it was going to be like any other Navy workout, but it's a little challenging. It's a pretty good workout, so I like it.
We just did an interval run, and even though it was only 15 minutes, it was actually quite taxing.
One of the basic concepts behind the NOFS is kind of getting away from traditional way of training your body. I'm trying to mimic the actual moves that sailors perform throughout the day. So I'm taking the movements that I do on the job, and I'm placing those in a training environment.
After a full day of training, these CFLs and ACFLs are NOFS proficient, ready to get their sailors fit and fueled. Petty Officer Shamira Purifoy, Yokosuka Naval Base, Japan.
As we head into the month of March, can we expect some signs of spring? Here's a look at your local weather forecast.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast and current exchange rate for the Sasebo, Atsugi, and Yokosuka areas.
Our final story tonight comes from Sasebo and concerns the friendship concert put on by the Kyushu Defense Bureau, who invited both Japanese and American bands to perform. I was in the audience following a local taiko drum group. The Kyushu Defense Bureau hosted a concert in Sasebo, Japan to recognize the friendship and goodwill between the United States Navy and the local community. The concert featured both Japanese and American high school bands, but it was the opening act that stole the show. They're called Kaisei Daiko, and they're a taiko drum group made up of U.S. Navy dependents, spouses, and members of the Japanese community. These members have put a lot of time and hard work into preparation for the show.
I am nervous but excited for the concert. It's important to practice so that you don't mess up and you do bad.
But some of the younger musicians sound like they're having too much fun to worry about stage fright.
We like taiko drums. I love wearing the suit. I like the noise of the taiko drums.
I recommend taiko for people who like to bang on stuff and like loud noises, but still like music at the same time.
After months of pounding away during long practice sessions, the members of Kaisei Daiko finally take to the stage for their concert. After a full performance in front of an attentive audience, the drum group receives what they've been waiting for: the sound of approval. Petty Officer Houston Waters, Fleet Activities, Sasebo, Japan. Well, it's been fun, but that's all the time we have for tonight. If you've missed any portion of this newscast, you can check it out on our Facebook page. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at the same time for AFN's monthly travel show, Kyushu Explorer. I'm Petty Officer Houston Waters, and from all of us here at AFN, thank you for watching, and have a great evening.